When I watch Rang De Basanti, is my proposal scene. ये कौन करता है? ये सब क्लीशे है.
You're so cute. You cannot.
I'm not joking. This is before the film is released. After that, people convinced me it is working. उसके पहले तो मेरी फटी पड़ी थी.
It was embarrassing because my mom got up with a panic attack in the morning. You know, with a front nude morphed picture of me. I mean,
इस दिन के लिए पैदा किया था तुम्हें.
ये क्या कर दिया तूने? And she's calling me and my dad's telling me, "Okay, listen, there's a picture, beta. Don't go out today anywhere. In the paper, there's one photo." I said, "What photo?" I said, "Dad, I'm doing a film called Jail, and that's a photograph from
that's
the
going
film.
to be out.
It's in. You've done a film."
I've said no to a lot of films, which required me to portray women in the wrong way, and especially raise hands on them or hit them. I've said no to those films.
Hello everybody, I'm Rani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. हमेशा अपनी करियर, अपनी लाइफ और ज़िंदगी में हर मोड़ पे हिसाब बराबर होना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. So let's talk about so much more with the team of हिसाब बराबर. Like I said, हिसाब बराबर होना तो ज़रूरी होता
बिल्कुल.
है कि नहीं? बताइए. It's interesting because I'm going to start the question with Madhavan because I remember recently you'd said about how Hindi films are becoming more elitist. There's so much great content coming out of Malayalam and they don't care, they stick to it. And then even other industries, there's a mix of commercial. What are the common people, what are they going through? Those issues are highlighted. I feel like you're walking the talk because a lot of films that you do, I see that you're trying to tell stories of courage, of that common man, including like that I saw in Hisaab Barabar because I watched the film. Do you feel that it is necessity that we do that?
In fact, अगर आपको elitism दिखाना है, तो आप जो इंडियन कॉमन मैन है, उसकी सक्सेस की स्टोरी दिखाइए. पूरे दुनिया में इसकी चर्चा हो रही है. He is a very empowered nationality right now. You know, his success. Look at all the top industries or the companies or IT, everything. He's on the top and he's the most non-showy, flaunty, क्या बोलते bombastic kind of a CEO. Look at every aspect of it. And that is, I think for me, instead of having to portray all heroes like how the West portrays it, you have to see what the Indian guy is all about. In Hisaab Barabar, he's exactly that. You know, he wants to live a straightforward, like all our parents, you know, everybody will understand what I'm saying. Ki rule follow karo, tax de do, bhaiya, you know, stay and then try to make an excellent career out of that. The reputation of an Indian around the world is this. He is what? He's straightforward. वो अपना काम करता है. He's not a threat to society. He's not. 99% of the time they adore having you as a neighbor or a friend or an acquaintance. So I've always believed that our idea of what a hero is slightly skewed because we tried to make it very international and our understanding of international. That's not necessarily true.
So is it? Will it be correct for me to say that today when you're looking at a script, you try to find that thread? Ki ye let everybody sort of, and only those stories is what kind of attracts you?
Yeah, from Rehna to Three Idiots to Rang De Basanti to this, it's all about the common man. He's not it comes from a background of privilege, but they're all heroes, right? अब आपको भी पता है कि दुनिया भर के लोग जो हैं K-pop के fans हैं. उसमें आप देख लीजिए कहानी. It is so.
K-drama is amazing.
And the youngsters today know the name of K-pop heroes more than they know the name of the actors in the country today, which is a frightening thing.
Yeah, they're very proud of the culture and they're in all the K-drama stories. You see that.
They're only talking about emotion, family, and culture.
Sure.
Which is our forte. Our country is all about that.
Bilkul. No, absolutely. You know, both Kirti and Neil Khiliye, and I've known Neil for a while as well. There is a commonality. Both of you, I feel like both of you have been able to carve your own niche without having to kind of get trapped in the with the glamour part of the job that you do, which I feel is a part of the life that you're leading. But it's kind of liberating to also be the way you've been making your choices, which includes Hisaab Barabar.
Yeah. For me, it's been a very conscious effort from the first film. And I'd mentioned it earlier that, getting in wasn't easy. Though I'm a part of the so-called film fraternity and the legacy of my grandfather and my father, but getting my first film wasn't easy at all. So I've gone through that rigmarole of landing the first film. And when that opportunity came my way, I was not with one but two. And I had to choose Johnny Gaddar just to prove to an audience and to to the rest of the fraternity that here, okay, there's this guy who can act.
Yeah.
Now, while my heart lies in that kind of cinema, I have to also balance it out very smartly with slightly larger than life films and be a part of that. And of course, I also want to do regional languages. So I've done that. Of course, Maddie sir is a pioneer in that.
Yeah, of course.
He's been doing it for far longer than any of us have. But I think what resonates with all of us as a common ground as actors, we are very true to what we want to do. So yes, we understand that there is, a system that's working where you have to be a part of a big commercial film. So if I'm doing a Johnny Gaddar, I will do a New York. If I'm doing a Lafange Parinde, I would do a jail. If I'm doing a Saath Khoon Maaf, I'll do a Golmaal. I just have to kind of balance that out. And I think in doing that, I've really understood that my calling is choosing the right character and being true to my role and enjoying the process. I think that's most important.
Before I come to Kirti, I want to ask you a follow-up question. I see a lot of people sometimes on your social media, take out scenes and take out movies and point out that you still remain underrated, and why is that? They say that he deserved way more chances than he got.
मैं खुद का ढिंढोरा नहीं पीता.
No, but yeah, what I have observed is that you've also not been particularly associated with any sort of production house or a camp or whatever.
I've worked with them all.
You worked with them all, but I don't think you were.
Now, I don't really have an answer to that, to be very honest. I do
but
feel.
Is my observation?
I know. Your observation's absolutely right. As parents, my parents feel that. I see it in my father's eyes on a daily basis. I see it in my mother's eyes.
Wow.
On a daily basis, Like, अब जब ये film का trailer आया, तो I can't tell you the amount of excitement that there's in my home, and especially my father. He's like a child. Okay, my film's coming. But coming back to that, I remember this. I don't know how to actually answer that question. It's a tough one.
It's just that people are expecting a lot more from you, which is great.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing.
So this underrated bit, I've heard this all
but
throughout my life. My
but
career.
not just expecting a lot more. They're seeing you. They are like rallying behind you.
ये सवाल शायद I
it's
think
better to be there than the opposite of it now.
Yeah.
PS को ज़्यादा दिख
But I think Neil is holding back. So I'm going to go to Kirti, and I still want to get an answer from you. You said it's a tough question. I'm glad. So you think about it. I'm going to go to Kirti and come back to you, and then come to Madhavan. Kirti, I think I draw parallels with your character in Hisaab Barabar and you in real life. I've known you a little and have had the privilege. You have one thing very common with two of you is you'll actually stand up for what you believe in, and that might affect your careers like it does for her, and I feel like it has for you sometimes here as well. Yes, you don't cry about it and make a deal of it, but I feel like there's that parallel. Did you relate to that quality? Because she is extremely honest with what she does. In fact, goes against the system. Today, and B, part of the question is that you've done certain kind of roles, extremely strong female characters that are inspiring for a lot. But today, when you'll do something like a badass, Ravi Kama, you will get a lot of flack saying that what happened to her. That also is a trapping of being known as the person who does only content. How are you dealing with all of these dilemmas of being an actor? I know you couldn't care less and you're being who you are, which is amazing.
Honestly, very thrilled about the fact that there's a Hisaab Barabar on the 24th on Z5, and then there's a badass within 10 days of that, which is so different from each other. I think I'm not, I am not going to be, if that's what people are expecting, कि अरे गलती हो गई, कि गलती से कर दिया क्या? No, यार. I'm a very conscious person, and the choices I make in life, especially when it comes to work, are very, very. They have a lot of filters going through me to be like अरे बस हो गया. It's I own up to what I have done. I know why I have done what I have done. And in terms of the parallels with, so I'm honestly very thrilled about it. For me, a badass is very different.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm like so excited. I can't even tell you. It's so important for her choreograph to have one badass.
Like it's almost like you. I mean, you don't do a film thinking कि ये कहाँ जाएगी क्या होगा, because honestly किसी को नहीं पता आप जो film कर रहे हो वो कहाँ जाएगी, what its fate gonna be. So, but क्या आपको ये experience करने में मज़ा आएगा? Is it something new? Is it something that takes you out of your comfort zone and pushes you towards चल ना थोड़ा सा करते हैं, that's what I look for, and that's exactly how I make my choices in life. And in fact, today, I would have probably never done a badass 3 years ago, till 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. But today, I'm at a point where I'm so secure about myself as an actor, so secure about myself as a person, कि I'm like, I don't give a shit in terms of it's my thing. And nobody will dictate, even in a very subtle way or in your face way कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए. So I am my own person and I make my own choices, and I make my choices being ready for the consequences that they will bring. Sure. Right? So I own up to all of it, I think, which is very, very empowering. Secondly, yes, there are a lot of similarities. I really, really relate to P. Subhash in a lot of ways. They're just too similar in terms of the strength they possess, the sensitivity they possess. I believe in being fair.
So is she.
Yeah,
even she.
Exactly. So fairness is something that I fight for. And if you see, I don't talk about too many things on my social media. It's just personal things that I put out there. But yeah, I mean, we both are very similar, and I've really, I mean, when people will see it, it's very similar, but I think there is still the way it's sort of played out, thanks to the lines, the way they are written, the way Ashwini sir saw the character, it just adds something very interesting and beautiful to the character.
I've seen it, and I think you're very good in it.
Oh, thank you.
Madhavan, of course, like I said, celebrating stories of the common heroes is the way to go. But like I was telling all of them, I also feel that the way you have mapped your career also, comes from a place of immense security. And, you've also been a person who's done roles that are not leading, but been in a place where you've happily done it because the greater part was to be part of a story like that. How have you been managing to stay this secure, this cool, in a place that is chaotic, in the place of glamour, and not being bothered by, like you say, the peripherals of the job that you do?
Maybe sometimes ignorance is a lot of power.
Really?
Yeah. So when I started my career, nobody told me that, please make sure you keep a track of how you look in public when you come out. In Tamil cinema, nobody bothers. They're like, so they are who they are. So I came with the same attitude. So after Rehna Tridil Mein also, it was that. But I found that I was able to concentrate more on things that really mattered. So getting to understand the script. It's a skill to listen to a script. Apart from writing one, there's a 6 months course on how to listen to a script. So, and that is very important. So I learned those skills. I have absolutely no idea about the film industry. I never trained to be an actor. I'm not from a film industry family. I'm not from a film school. So I had to learn on the job. And I realized that the only thing that helped me learn on the job is the fact that whatever job I was doing was being accepted by the public. And therefore I got more opportunities. People who started off with these trappings did not make it. And so I was maybe just lucky also. And the fact that the one thing that really helped me play all the varied characters that I did from Rang De Basanti to Hisaab Barabar is that my life experiences had a lot to do with those characters. My mother is a banker. She was a banker in Bihar for 30 years. And I know what it means to survive in Bihar for 30 years at that time, but to be a banker and an honest one at that and not be, affected by the other practices in the banking industry was a big deal. So for Hisaab Barabar, I just completely, played off my mother's character in real life.
I love that.
Yeah.
And because you said that, I think you have those qualities that you rightly said right now, right? Like not being corrupted by the world that you live in. How easy or difficult is that, Mr. Madhavan, for you?
You get tempted, without a doubt. You keep thinking, yaar, itna tax bhar raha hai yaar, or yaar, But deep down, I think the middle class attitude is that dignity is far more important for me than my complaints. So you follow the rules, you try to change it from within the system instead of being a rebel and saying, I won't do it. For me, that has actually played, being that secure comes from the fact that I'm extremely grateful for what I have become. So, like they say the same thing about me as well, that इसको पूरा potential नहीं मिला, ये बन सकता था.
जी जी बिल्कुल.
मेरे को लगता है कि मैं यार, I'm still on an upward curve in my career. I'm still charging more money than I did in my last film, so I'm okay with that.
I love that. Like, I feel like you're here and you're looking at the world around you and doing your own thing.
Yeah,
like little separate from, you're not within it and looking at it.
Yeah, Maddie's, he has that detachment.
Yeah,
towards,
you're not kind of attached to what you have earned, even the stardom or otherwise, isn't it?
I'm attached to people. I'm attached to experiences, but I'm not attached to the paraphernalia.
The very, which is, you must be a proud dad. Now you have 2 heroes in the house.
One
has won equal a lot of more medals.
Yeah, my fingers crossed. I don't like to talk about him too much because he has a long way to go. He's still struggling, and and his dreams are far away. So I just hope and pray that he's able to live up to it.
But rightly said, not 2 heroes.
Well, my wife doesn't think so. She thinks only one hero is there at home.
But that'll keep you humble, which is always good.
Which
is always good. We come right home. Yeah. All right, Neil, back to you. Now you've got a little bit of time. Because I know that there are moments of frustration when you have an answer in front of yourself, right? Like you analyze it. You're very honest, so I know you'll have that. I'm adding to that also, I feel like there's a joy when you play characters with negative shades because you play it deliciously. So, about that as well.
Nice.
No, I mean, thanks for the compliment.
Of course.
I'm not at all Mickey Mehta.
Of course.
If I take $5 from somebody, I will have to return it ASAP.
ये तो जब भी कार्ड स्वाइप करते हैं तो अपना क्रेडिट कार्ड का बिल उसी दिन भरते हैं. वो he's that.
So I'm that. I'm actually that. And I get flack for it.
I can make that out when we met. So it's very difficult for me to get along with people who are opposite of that, and there are many people who take pride in being opposite of that. That brings sorry, I'm saying it. When the first day we were starting to work together, and Neil was, he's like, he comes from a film industry, right?
Sure.
I don't think he's used to an hero saying, यार तू scene मेरे से उठा, ये तेरी scene है. मेरे को तुम मतलब ऐसा करोगे तो फिर मैं ले लूँगा scene, and it won't work for the film. I wanted to say that to him because it's the sincerity that he comes with as a person.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's not going to doubt what I'm saying.
How sweet.
I'm saying, remember the scene in the van?
I know, I do.
Yeah.
That's why I give a lot of credit to Maddie sir. I'll tell you, Hisaab Barabar as a film is a very tough film. Why? Because it's a very topical film, it's a very important message, but it's being said in a very light-hearted, comical, satirish
of course.
way. So while his character might be very real and very earthy and very relatable too from a common man's point of view, Mickey Mehta suddenly might just stand out with his eccentricity and his histrionics on screen, which can confuse a certain audience from a certain nature of what the film actually might be. Our first scene together, and it was the interval point of the film. So I haven't really.
Is it the point where
you're in
the? Is it the point where he's sitting inside the van and
that's the one.
Exactly.
He looks at you and you say that, come, let's have a chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the scene.
See, I've seen the film.
Yeah.
I was not lying. I never come without.
I want you to continue your answer, but for her character, the beauty of the way that the story has been written is that it depends on where you're from. You'll see the justification in either one of the scenes.
Yeah.
What she's saying is right. Like, how dare you reject somebody because of accounting?
Correct.
But I feel bad for him because the man is like that. He is, that's the way he is in the world.
He's saying, I didn't reject you because I thought you didn't look good or you're not the kind of girl that I have.
You've not even seen anything. You
I
just
haven't seen.
Probably
But मेरा क्या है कि यार मेरे घर में अगर हिसाब गड़बड़ होगा तो we'll be fighting.
It's a strange thing if you're bad at maths, you're being rejected there also in the wedding. Maths professors celebrating around the world.
No, but see, the thing is, he's not rejecting the person. He's saying कि घर में ना मुठभेड़ होगा.
No, he's being practical.
It's like saying, यार, if I get married to somebody who eats a lot of non-veg in my house, which is a pure vegetarian, मुठभेड़ होगा यार. Well, I don't know why love should have another challenge like that. Unless I met the person, then I'm passing a judgment. But if I've never met the person, वो basic criteria होता है ना कि यार इसको देख के फिर ना नहीं बोलना चाहिए. पहले ही यहाँ पे नहीं होने वाला है. So even his character, for example, coming back to that, if you listen to his lines in the van, or when he's confronting me, people who are of his mindset will say, what he's saying is right, na? He's, you know, we're portraying him as a villain. But sometimes you see what he's saying is right. इसको 4 पैसा extra दे दो, हो जाके गुटखा खाएगा उसमें. I am trying to say that why don't I make a bigger financial institution with that money? He doesn't know the difference.
Sure.
No.
Sure. Maybe it helped you with his logic. You also must have really, as an actor, you'll also have to believe in your character's
You
thing.
have
Na?
to,
It
no,
must-
you have to.
to.
With the
You
film,
have to.
Only then will you.
Yeah, if you believe you're negative in the beginning, then the game is over.
I mean, it's eventually it's a story of a common man versus a system, right? So if he's playing the common man, I'm portraying the system.
Yeah,
So
of
I
course.
have to be that
Justified
In your head
and then
first, hai na?
in my head.
That's how the movie
And,
starts.
that's
Is
how the
desh
film
mein tera
is.
do desh.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he's part of India, I'm part of Bharat. That's how it was beautifully put.
Correct,
Na? There are
very
two.
nice.
We are part of Bharat.
I think Ashwini sir has written it really,
So,
really well. Yeah.
India will not agree with what Bharat is saying. Bharat will say, "Sale, tum bana India because of us." So that is a phenomenal uniqueness of our country, yeah, and that's beautifully shown in this movie.
No, but coming back to the compliment that I wanted to pass on to Maddie sir for especially that particular day, I was wanting to take it in and portray the character, of course, how
Sure.
I would want to portray it. And he said, don't do it like that. He said, why don't you just play it real? Means, otherwise as actors, when you are said कि यार तू negative lead है, तेरे को ना villain बनना है, अच्छा, charm, I want that whole appeal. For me, it's very easy because I've done it in the past, and to switch that on is very easy. But to have that and then to underplay it and be real, it's very tough.
Yeah.
And then with the kind of lines, of course, and what the essence of the film is. So that scene, of course, when the audience sees the film, they'll also relate to not just that scene, but both the scenes, that we share. And very rightfully said that the language that's being communicated is that he's not a villain. He's not your typical villain. He believes in himself.
Yeah, he
and he
thinks he's
believes in
right.
his cheat.
Yeah.
And he
He
likes,
says कि तेरे को अब क्या प्रॉब्लम आ गया, मैंने तेरे 27 रुपए 50 पैसे ले लिए, तू टीवी ले ले.
तुझे पता ही नहीं था, तुमको मैंने 25,000 का टीवी दिया.
तेरे को मैं 25,000 का टीवी दे रहा हूँ, तुझे बाकी लोग का क्या पड़ा है? वो जब हमारा पहला दिन का शूट था, तो I think he just set that tone very well, and I think that just set the whole thing for me up ahead for the entire film. Thank you for that.
No, brother.
That was a tough day.
No, but I'm just saying to know that you're able to do it.
Yeah.
See, other person, if you're not one of those guys who didn't pay your credit card bills before time, I wouldn't say it. तो उसको लगेगा ये ना मेरे से सीन खींचने के लिए बोल रहा है.
नहीं.
I know
He's
that.
misleading me, guys.
मैं तो ऐसा हुई नहीं. I feel के.
No, that's why I'm saying I had the freedom to tell you that.
100%.
otherwise it can be taken in the wrong way.
Yeah, तू अपना काम करना कर. I've had actors tell me that.
Yeah.
यार तू अपना काम करना. And I realized कि हाँ भैया चलो यार अभी इसको मेरे
Very few people are actually open.
वो collaborator वही difference होता है ना, एक true collaborator और just set पे आके
No,
करना.
but I'm not
Actors,
joking,
lot of
Dani. I have
times
had
are-
people who've come and said, Madhi sir, you do your job, no, it'll be easy.
Wow.
No, that's fine. That's their approach. The point is,
मेरा तो उल्टा है. मैं जाके पूछना चाहिए. मैं तो पूछता हूँ लोगों से. I think it's such a healthy exercise for
I think that's
actors to
the whole
kind
point, dude, of
to
coming
jam on
together
set
and doing the scene.
Like
and
I go to, even if suppose there's with all due respect, I don't want to bifurcate a certain designation, but if there's a junior in the
absolutely.
scene, and if he's supposed to cross and give me a glass of maybe a champagne or whatever, I'll ask him कि आप अपना टाइमिंग मुझे बता दो, आप अपनी बॉडी लैंग्वेज मुझे बता दो, मैं आपके हिसाब से एक्ट
Arey, there are many movies in which the junior has a better shot than me, and I have to let him do it, or else it won't work.
absolutely,
No.
yeah.
Now there was one Kaka in our scene that
Yeah.
scene,
Yeah.
and I had to give him his stay, his pause, and then take the flair in. मैं अपनी simplicity में खुश हूँ. अगर किसी को लग रहा है कि मैं काम कर सकता हूँ और शिद्दत से और ईमानदारी से काम करूँगा, मुझे काम दे. नहीं देना है, मैं क्या करूँ? मैं किसी का काम छीन
मैं खुद अपने काम
You know, my
बना लूँगा.
answer to that,
खुद ही को
like
कौन
adding
बुलंद
to
इतना
that,
कि
this
हर
whole
कोई देख
underrated thing, यार अगर काम सिर्फ किसी की capability या talent पे मिलता, तो एक बात होती है, then you can make it black and white कि यार इसको तो कहीं और होना चाहिए था. It's not just your talent, there's so many other things you know that go together, including आपका, I mean it's a matter of chance also यार कि आप right time, right place, whatever that thing is. It's a lot of factors coming together. So this analogy of underrated or overrated doesn't really work because it's.
There is a lot more. There's a lot more behind it. Fair enough. See. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Very commonly played. This is the actor's version of it. Okay. You heard a very famous game that they play called Never Have I Ever. But this is the actor's version. I'm going to tell the statements. You'll have to say if you have been through that situation or you never have.
What do you drink?
And what you don't have to drink anything. This is I don't want to put you in a situation. And just give a small statement. Like if it's an interesting anecdote that you remember, you can tell us in a line or so. Yes, you.
Ready, okay.
All right, are you ready?
Ready.
Yes.
This is the Never Have I Ever actor's version and here we go. It's the same question for all of you. So, Neil, Madhavan, and here we go. Okay, all right. Refused to do a film because it went against your beliefs.
Yeah, I have refused multiple films which have gone against my belief. Do I have to also elaborate?
Yeah, little
like
bit.
An anecdote?
Correct.
The rise of OTT and the freedom of content and writing with explicit scenes and nudity wasn't my really take of what a certain scene needs to be portrayed as. I think not necessary. If it's true to the nature
script.
of the film or the script, why not? But not for the unnecessary aspect of titillation. So I've just been saying no to a lot of content coming my way which unnecessarily was trying to project that. Yeah.
So I want to say 100% believe that he did jail and it was required there.
I did
and it was
full
fantastic.
frontal nudity there.
Yeah, 100%.
And I did that. But if it's not required and it's just to titillate an audience and project something else, no, not happening.
Fair enough. What about you, sir?
I've said no to a lot of films which required me to portray women in the wrong way and especially raise hands on them or hit them. I've said no to those films.
Right.
What about you, Kirti?
I think my answer is a bit of no and yes because I usually try and have a very open mind in terms of कोई film आई है, character आया है, तो मुझे I like to get into someone else's shoes who's probably not me, right? That becomes very exciting for me.
Sure.
But where I end up saying no is where I am like, as they said, कि आप कुछ करने के लिए कुछ कर रहे हो. You know, the intentions with which you're doing it is not in the right place. And the way you wish to portray whatever you're trying to portray is very half-hearted and very half-assed. So I'm like, either you go all the way and show what you need to show with the conviction you have, या फिर don't be like in between. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Rejected because on the basis of the stereotypical idea of beauty or physical appearance in the industry.
Hello.
I know, but I'm still asking the question.
I think I should just pass it on now.
Hello.
Hello. Of course, hello. So no, not yet. Okay, Mari.
Yeah, of course. My extraordinary ability to dance has gotten in the way of my being cast in one of my movies.
I think I've had the other side of
Okay.
it. Ki sometimes they think I cannot do certain roles because I am
Pretty in
pretty.
that way.
Yeah, so
okay.
हाँ, दोनों तरफा ये तो खेल दोनों तरफा का.
Okay. Left a film midway because it wasn't happening according to the script that was first told you.
No, once I start something, I have to finish it because it's not just me. There are many lives at stake and many people. So, of course, before starting, I have because the director and a very reputed director decided to change the entire script overnight.
Whoa.
So, because that film was a remake of a film and somebody else had gone and made it.
Correct.
Now, just because he had given me a signing amount, I'm not going to go and make the film just because
Fair.
you've paid me and you're writing a script overnight because you're starting shoot in a
Crazy.
week. That's not happening.
Crazy. Okay, what about you, Madhavan?
I
This
have,
is
I
interesting.
have.
You haven't.
I've stopped the film in between because the intentions were all going wrong, and you can't. When we make a 30 crore project or a 40 crore project, like look at it as an industry.
Sure.
Right? The amount of due diligence you'll do to hire the number of people, कि यार factory डालना है, इतने लोगों को करना है. The amount of due diligence you do for an industry like that, for a company like that, for setting up a factory or a business like that. If you don't want to do that because it's a movie and you want to just have fun and have
Fair.
parties and stuff like that. So I sometimes in all our smartness and intelligence, we get waylaid by people who suddenly you realize after the shoot starts कि भैया इनका intention ही गलत था. So I've taken some hard decisions.
Fair. What about you, Kirti?
Never.
Never. Okay. Did a film only for money? You needed it. You wanted to survive. That's it.
Yeah, once.
Once.
I had massive EMIs. We've all gone
Fair.
through that, but once.
I feel it's fair. People don't understand what it takes to just be an actor and survive.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot of times.
Yeah, but not at the risk of compromising what you do.
Correct.
But
Me
sometimes.
neither.
But
Like money, script, you
Kind
thought
of, yeah,
money
yeah,
was
yeah.
important.
Set up.
Especially during and after COVID. A lot of that. Yeah.
Of course. What about you, Kirti?
Never.
Never.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Felt like you're being treated unfairly on a film set and not given the same respect as your co-actor or any other actor.
I don't pay attention to that. So.
Okay, fair enough. What about you?
Never happened. I feel they give me a little more respect. I believe they give me too
Little
much
extra
more
Okay.
respect.
effort.
Yeah.
Extra.
What about
Them
you?
with your love.
I have faced that. Yes.
You have faced that, and how did you deal with it?
By feeling very shitty about it, taking my time to process, and also realizing through the process that none of it is personal.
Okay. The last two, here it goes. Embarrassed by a scene or film that you might have done and now you can laugh about it.
So many.
Give me one example.
No, I mean, I've done. Maybe Jail is the only one that not really embarrassed, but
But it was fantastic.
yeah, it was amazing.
But
It
you
was
were
the need
awkward
of
to
the
sort
hour.
of-
It was embarrassing because my mom got up with a panic attack in the morning, with a front nude morphed picture of me. I mean,
इस दिन के लिए पैदा किया था तुम्हें?
ये क्या कर दिया तूने? And she's calling me and my dad's telling me, okay, listen, there's a picture, beta. Don't go out today anywhere. In the paper, there's one photo. I said, what photo? I said, Dad, I'm doing a film called Jail, and that's a photograph from
That's
the
going
film.
to be out.
It's in. You've done a film? So for me, that was maybe just that one moment.
Parents are the best. I must
Otherwise,
say.
yeah. For me, I mean,
cute.
my world starts and ends with them. So it's their happiness, their decision on that front. Yeah.
All right, this is a fun one. What about you?
No, I own everything that I do.
Yeah.
So there's no regret.
Okay. There's nothing, it's the scene that you look at yourself and you laugh also. What is
Oh,
it?
I look at every scene of mine till the last film and say, how did you survive? Because I think I'm terrible.
That is unfair. Not
No.
all films, yeah.
Never have I actually gone and said, I've done a good scene. I've never
Not
been able
even
to say-
one?
No.
Me neither.
No, I'm like,
You
I
also-
cringe.
Me
I
neither.
haven't watched this.
I can't see my film.
I think the first viewing is very cringy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
It's like I'm naked.
But even now, so many, kuch to hoga, you're like decent. Kuch like,
All my films that I've done brilliantly, I've thought they are big disasters before the release.
that's really being
God,
hard on
yeah.
yourself, really. Oh,
you ask Maddie if he thinks the film is going to be a disaster, he's probably going to do well.
Just
before the release.
There's a very tricky position. Later they'll say you should cut this out. Don't say.
Yeah, that's true.
Maddie,
Maddie, what's your opinion? What do you think this film is?
Hey, disaster.
Okay, then.
Exactly.
Kirti, and your answer to this question and the last one.
I do that. I look at scenes and I just remember the making of it
Yeah.
and what was happening. And
I looked at Rang De Basanti. I'm like, what are you doing? Look at you wig.
That film.
Horror disaster है यार ये तो वैसा.
But I know you know it, and people have told 1,000 times you are amazing in it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah,
film
it's
as
a
well.
beautiful
You know when I
film as
cringe
well.
when I watch Rang De Basanti is my proposal scene. ये कौन करता है? ये सब cliche
He
है.
was so cute. You
wow.
cannot.
I'm not joking. This is before the film is released. After that, people convinced me it is working. उसके पहले तो मेरी फटी पड़ी थी.
हाँ, ये बहुत होता है.
बहुत होता है.
And I love it. I love the memory of going back and then seeing something and then just knowing how I personally feel about it.
We started with Hisaab Barabar and we're ending it with Hisaab Barabar, and stood up for yourself. And did Hisaab Barabar ever while filming a film? Or stood up for yourself in any way, which is doing Hisaab Barabar?
All the time.
Me too.
Has?
All the time.
What did he say? Stood up for yourself?
Yeah, for yourself. And did Hisaab Barabar for yourself?
Of course,
all the
yeah.
time.
All the time.
I mean, it's come to me a little late in life, but yeah.
Yeah, we have a no bullshit policy.
Yeah.
I love that. I love no bullshit people, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me a little bit more extra time.
Thanks.
And I have loved analyzing the film with all of you, and I'm sure
You
that the
actually
world...
saw it, man. That's lovely.
Every scene we can have a discussion
Which
on
is
it.
why we made it longer for you.
I know, I've enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Incredible actors with humility and also self-awareness. That's the world. Does the world need more people like this? Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you,
all
sir.
the best for Hisaab
Thank
Barabar.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ritlani.
Thank you.
Thank you.